Welcome to The Explainer. So, what happens when a family-run real estate empire, one that's been building for 50 years, decides to team up with a global giant? Well, it's not just another business deal. This is a story that could completely reshape one of the hottest property markets on the planet. $3 billion. I mean, just let that sink in for a second. That's the kind of annual sales volume we're talking about here from a single family-run business. And believe me, their next move, it is absolutely going to send ripples through the entire Canadian real estate market. All right, so here's the headline making all the waves. REMAX, the global real estate giant, just made a massive expansion in the Greater Toronto area. But hold on, this isn't just your standard acquisition. No. This is a really strategic move that tells us a ton about where the entire industry is headed. Okay, so who are the key players in this blockbuster deal? Well, on one side, you've got REMAX. You know them, they're a household name. And joining their team are two absolute powerhouses that used to be with Royal LePage, Your Community Realty and Connect Realty. But here's the really fascinating part. They were both built and run by the exact same family. Now, to really get a handle on the scale of this thing, just picture it. We're talking about 1,200 agents across 17 different offices. I mean, boom. Just like that, this move massively boosts REMAX's market share in one of Canada's most competitive regions. It's a huge injection of talent and territory, all from a single handshake. But, this whole thing isn't just about corporate strategy and big numbers. Not at all. To really understand why this deal is so significant, you have to look at the human story behind it all. It's a 50-year family journey building a real estate empire from the absolute ground up. So this story really starts with Vivian Reese. She got her start in real estate way back in 1974. Fast forward 20 years to 1994, and she buys her very first brokerage. It had just 18 agents. Think about that. From that tiny seed, she and her kids, Michelle and Justin, grew this thing into the 1,200-agent powerhouse it is today. That is a truly incredible journey. Which, of course, brings us to the big question, right? After all these decades of incredible, independent success, why join REMAX? And why now? Well, the answer really boils down to a strategic alliance where both sides saw this huge, powerful opportunity for growth.
Look, this deal is a classic win-win. For REMAX, it's a no-brainer. They get to lock down their Canadian presence with proven top performers in the super important Toronto market. And for the Rizzi family, this is all about future-proofing their business. They now get access to a global network, incredible resources, and way more power to recruit top talent, especially in those high-stakes commercial and luxury markets.
And the REMAX CEO, Eric Carlson, he sees this as total validation of their strategy. He's basically saying, see, this proves our investments in tech, in marketing, in our global reach, it's all working. It's attracting the best of the best in the industry. It really is a huge vote of confidence. And Vivian Rizzi's perspective? It lines up perfectly. For her, this was a proactive move. She's saying this wasn't just about getting bigger. It was about getting smarter, getting better equipped for an industry that's constantly changing. It's all about making sure her agents have every possible advantage heading into the future. Okay, but to really fully grasp why this deal is so important, we have to zoom out a little bit. Because here's the twist. This huge expansion is happening against a pretty surprising backdrop. See, overall, REMAX is actually shrinking in North America. And that adds a really fascinating layer of tension to this whole story. So, on the one hand, you've got this undeniably fantastic news, right? REMAX just brought on this massive team of proven, super productive agents. It's a clear win. No doubt about it.
But on the other hand, you have this number. And this number, well, it tells a very different story about the bigger trend happening inside the company.
Yeah, in the last quarter, REMAX's total agent count in the US and Canada actually dropped by 5.1%. So, how do you square that? They're celebrating this huge win in Toronto, but at the same time, their overall network is getting smaller. What's going on here? Well, this quote from Don Kotick, the president of REMAX Canada, I think it holds the key. He says, REMAX was built to help top performers thrive. And that right there suggests a major strategic shift. It seems like in a tougher market, the focus isn't just on having the most agents. It's about having the best agents. It's quality over quantity. They're doubling down on excellence.
So what's next? What does a landmark deal like this really signal for the future? I mean, what does it mean for all the other family-run brokerages out there? And what does it say about the whole dynamic between local powerhouses and these giant global brands?
Okay, so let's boil it all down. What are the big takeaways here? First, it's pretty clear we're seeing some major consolidation in the Canadian real estate market.
Second, the game is shifting. The focus is now on acquiring proven high-volume producers. And third, even the most successful independent powerhouses are seeing that there's huge value in teaming up with a global brand to get that reach and those resources.
And all of this leaves us with one final, really big question for the entire industry to think about. In an industry that's changing so fast, is joining up with a global brand, is that now the ultimate competitive advantage? Is that the key to long-term survival and success? It's definitely something to chew on.